Man, what a long day at work. But now I gotta cram in all this editing right at the end of Anime 18, your daily dose of anime every day in May. So close I could scream! But I won't. That honor goes to the plucky young protagonist of Aggretsuko. Aggretsuko is a new Netflix animated series based on a 100-episode series from 2016 that aired on Japanese television somewhere, I guess. The original series was a bunch of 1-minute shorts about a 25-year-old accountant, a red panda named Retsuko, who lives in a Zootopia-styled animal metropolis. The show is a typical workplace comedy about Retsuko being a total doormat for chauvinist boss, irritating co-workers, and pushy salespeople. Retsuko takes all these constant attacks with grace, but lets out her pent-up frustration through personalized death metal songs each episode. The main gag is obviously the juxtaposition of the cutesy Hello Kitty-inspired characters partaking in screamo music, face paint included. It's an interesting choice aesthetically, but it never really lands as a punchline. The show really isn't even very funny, at least not haha funny, more like, I relate to that kind of funny. The character interactions are cute and quirky, but the show feels more like Grey's Anatomy than The Office. And I'm honestly okay with it. It's uncommon to have a relatable anime about 20-somethings just surviving the workplace, and the cast feels really genuine with a lot of good chemistry. And once I let go that the show wasn't supposed to make me laugh, I quickly grew attached to the characters. The antagonists and obnoxious characters are blown up to an insane degree, which was a little much for me, but Retsuko's circles of friends were incredibly likable and gave some much-needed reprieve from the constant frustrations in her life. They're supportive and kind, and people I actually wanted to get to know better. I mean, everyone except for her high school friend Puko. She's this free-spirited couch surfer who shows up in the second episode and has this idea for an online import store. She gets Retsuko's hopes up that she might be able to quit her crappy job and help her run her business, but completely drops the ball and crushes Retsuko's dreams. And then, to try to cheer her up, she has the audacity to suggest that thanks to responsible, overworked people like Retsuko, she's able to live life with a snooze button. The nerve! Like that's supposed to be comforting. Get lost, you bum! The official show doesn't look that much more appealing or detailed than the original shorts, they're just 15 times longer now. The simplistic flash animation gets the job done, but there are a ton of reused locations and assets, making the whole experience kinda bland after a while. I guess you could say it feeds into the soul-crushing office monotony theme they're going with, but I think that's giving the show too much credit. The character designs have a real Animal Crossing appeal, but some are far more expressive than others. Main characters like Retsuko and Haida have a good range of faces, but even some of the badass characters like Washimi look completely deadpan, even if her voice actress does a good job portraying her. Again, more variety in the animation would go a long way in developing the cast and adding some much-needed visual flair. Speaking of variety, the show really rests its laurels on this Aggretsuko death metal joke, and the songs themselves are never entertaining or cathartic. They show up at regular intervals like clockwork. Retsuko does her job, someone pisses her off, screamo song. There's no development since she does these secretly and no one ever finds out about it, so she never has to answer for it. In episode 6, which was the last episode I saw, she does have an opportunity to break out of her shell by performing some death metal for Washimi and Gori, who she was intimidated by, but they're totally cool with it immediately and there are no consequences for it. The songs themselves are annoying and usually incomprehensible without English subtitles, even though they're singing in English. There's no clever wordplay or even rhyming half the time. I just wonder if there could have been a more entertaining way for Retsuko to vent her anger and have this alternate persona as a venting mechanism. I'm reminded of Detroit Metal City, where the weenie protagonist has this hair metal persona to overcome his personal hangups, but Retsuko's aggressiveness hardly ever manifests itself in any interesting ways. Almost everything the show's been advertised as has been its worst qualities. It's not a comedy, her death metal singing has nothing to do with the plot, and the music is terrible, but outside of that I had a pretty good time with it. Aggretsuko is a very down-to-earth workplace drama with a cute cast that's easy to root for. The over-the-top cartoonish villains bog down the charming slice-of-life story about 20-something problems, which is seriously something we need a lot more of in animation. And this series is short. If you're at all interested, you can bust this out in an afternoon, and I'm sure you won't be disappointed you did. Alright, no time for chit-chat. The final episode of Anime 18 is next, so get hyped.